A lot of us think that yoga is just more like stretching, right? So what exactly is yoga? Is it more of a workout than just stretching?
Absolutely, it is more than stretching. It's an integration, as I said, the physical body, the pranayama, analog below, the ability to control your breathing. Otherwise, you are a log of wood. Everything is internal. Let me underline this phrase again and again and again and again. Everything is internal.
Hello and welcome back to the Green Generation. Today we're diving into something a little different but super powerful. And we are exploring the intersection of sustainability, lifestyle, and conscious living. So, what if yoga isn't just a workout, but it's also a way to mentally and spiritually cope with the chaos of climate change? I think this is going to be a wonderful podcast that's going to talk about the consequences of climate change and how we ourselves can cope with it as opposed to a factor that's contributing to climate change. It's the other way around, right? And today we have my father, Mr. Seetharaman, who is a practitioner of yoga and who's also a sustainable development advocate. So he has been a part of all of the inner balance that also helps with the outer chaos.
Absolutely.
So this episode is for you if you are someone who's feeling just out of balance, if you're talking about stress, anxiety or eco-fatigue, or if you know anyone that might be feeling the same, then keep watching this episode.
Absolutely. It's my delight and privilege. That's precisely I've been practicing in the name of integration within myself ever since I was taught clearly the pranayama, analog below, the ability to control your breathing. Otherwise, you're a log of wood, isn't it? So the physical body, spiritual body, and a subtle body gets into integration. The holistic exercise. This is not confined to only physical body. This is not a gym training. This is an integration within yourself. If you recognize everything is internal, which gets into disposition.
Yeah.
So that integration is the essence of your existence.
Right. And I think it's almost like I think that he's also influenced me to start doing yoga myself, and I've been doing it for a couple of weeks. But I think all of the breath work, the mindful movements, the stillness, all of that, I think is almost sort of an answer to the outer chaos that's happening in the world.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start off with a very basic question is, a lot of us think that yoga is just more like stretching, right? So what exactly is yoga? Is it more of a workout than just stretching?
Absolutely, it is more than stretching. It's an integration, as I said, the physical body. Physical body requires stretching. You have to be flexible. You have to be stable. You have to be pain-free. And you have to have your body balance. The balance you have to achieve by true integration of your breathing.
Yeah.
So you stay calm, your composure becomes evident if you practice yoga. And truly it's relaxing. It's harmonized within yourself so that in terms of contingency, you know how to stay focused, how you're mindful of what is around you and what is within you. That's more important. A balanced growth is vital within the body segmentation. So if you go to a gym, you have physical exercise, beautiful. You build your muscles, build your strength in every form and substance. That's also required. Now, if you have to articulate one solution which is holistic, that's why United Nations have endorsed in 2015 on June 21st. Yoga is not a simple exercise, it's a way of living. It's a philosophy tested tens of thousands of years before.
Right. And I fully agree with it because, like I said, I've been doing yoga myself for the last couple of weeks, and I was always someone who did weight training and strength training, was always active with sport, and always thought I needed to have recovery time. And like, why do I need to do yoga? Because you think that unlike the gym, with yoga you do not see immediate results in terms of a physical appearance. You might not see muscles developing, you might not see some cuts and abs or whatever your goals are with the gym. But what I've really understood, and from having a trainer and from doing it, is that especially if you do weight training, dedicating 1 or 2 days a week, along with weight training in terms of stretching, in terms of mobility, in terms of flexibility, is such a large part of weight training as well as is such a large part of strength training. So if you talk to most trainers, they will tell you that they dedicate 1 day a week outside of weights to do mobility and flexibility, which is a very important part of recovery. And honestly, when I started to realize that yoga was actually making a change, like I said, physically you might not see it, but you feel it. And what I've noticed is that, so generally after my gym sessions, my trainer always stretches me out, cracks my back a little bit. And in the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been asking me, what am I doing different? Because there's no cracks on my back anymore. I'm still having the same routine of sitting in front of the laptop, working. I sit a lot more, but my posture has evolved in a way that I don't have any of those cracks anymore. I don't have those aches and pains that I usually get on my shoulders. And I didn't realize it myself until he cracked me and he said, there's no cracks. Every week you seem like something's changed. And that's when I connected that it had everything to do with yoga along with all of the strength training, right?
You said it, you experienced it, and you're feeling it.
Yeah.
That's a feel-good factor. That's what exactly yoga gives you. I'm not saying you don't require weight training, especially man like me who cross 60. You have to build your muscles, protect your bones. So where yoga plays a role is to balance everything. You have a connectivity, composure, calmness, and again, making sure you are mindful of everything what is around you. Your vitals are tested, immediately brought to control. So by having a breathing control, you keep watching your breathing, making sure or inhale or exhale. By this process, you are able to have full control of your physical body, mental body, and the subtle body, and the transition, the space you are in.
Okay, so would you almost say that yoga helps with being calm compared to all of the outer chaos that's happening? Because you talked about breath work, yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of contingency, we live in a changing world. Time and again, we need to articulate solutions which are responsive, especially when you are taking more responsibility. Gravitate to a person who can shoulder it. You can sustain it only if you recognize that you need to have a balance. Anger is not a solution for everything. Conflict will happen.
Right.
You have to take these conflict and resolve this. Agree to disagree or agree to agree is a choice. Your physical emotions, mental distortion should not change the purpose of your practice, whichever be the profession you belong to. So when there are interacting personalities, you will have constant challenges.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of life. So how do you compose yourself? How do you make sure that you have enough body balance, mental balance as well as physical balance, and keep your emotion in pursuit of moderation?
Absolutely.
And that's where logic prevails. That's where your control comes into composure. Yoga gives that.
No, I agree. And I think we've already spoken in our previous podcasts about how global warming and climate change affects your mental health, right? And that's something we, unfortunately, unless we make a complete change with sustainability, that's going to still be a prevalent problem, which means stress and anxiety in the fast-moving world that we have in terms of work is not changing. It might evolve with time, but it's not changing instantly. And yoga really helps with all of that breath work, all of that inner peace, all of that inner calm to deal with the stress, anxiety, fatigue, not necessarily just anger, but even in your workspace, how you deal with things, how you deal with people. They always say, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, and then react, right?
See, you said now, the stress doesn't it's always there. It is more now with the
Yeah.
change in face of the world, with the digital advantage, information overflow, so much distraction. While the digital advantage we don't disregard, the cost, the toxic impact it creates is huge.
Yeah.
Precisely, you need a body balance. Every time when I was confronting challenges, every time when I have a major task to do, when there are predicaments where I need to take a break, I only take few minutes to do the breathing control. I do the breathing technique, pranayama. I was told at a young age how to practice it. That's helped me to consolidate and come back with regeneration, come back with absolute clarity, come back with body balance, come back with mental balance. And that's the beauty of this science.
Yeah. And if I may share, a sort of secret of his, or not really a secret, but something that he does all the time. And I've always asked him how he has sustained energy. I think we've spoken about this so many times, I think in our previous podcasts as well, but this is your little window into his personal life, where he always, before, he used to do as part of work when he was working in the bank, he used to always do live interviews. He used to always have like meetings on the go. There would be like sometimes unexpected, sometimes translated interviews. And before every interview, before every meeting, my dad used to disappear for 10 minutes and he'll always go into the bathroom or go into in a quieter space. And I always wonder what he's doing for like 10 minutes, and he'll do some breath work, whatever his form of meditation is, to calm himself. And suddenly the energy is like nothing ever happened a minute before.
Absolutely.
No matter what stress he's had, whether it's in terms of work or if I've troubled him a little bit at home, or I don't know, whatever it is, suddenly he's able to switch off from that.
Yep.
And it's like he was prepared for this interview his whole life.
Yeah.
So I think that breath work, that taking that time out to meditate, connecting with yourself has really worked for you. And I think it's something I should learn to do.
It's a natural phenomenon. It's a God's gift. And if all that you need is, you don't need even 10 minutes. You need few seconds, even 2 minutes. If you inhale and exhale, you remove the toxic and you come to fresh perspective. As I said, it's a core regeneration. The break is essential for you to be mindful of your challenges in front.
Okay, so the real question is, yes, it helps us internally and it helps us deal with the external world, but does it really help with eco-fatigue or climate stress, for example? How does yoga sort of play a role in helping that process?
Well, we talk about sustainability. We talk about conflicts. We talked about human emotions. See, all these conflicts and the consequence of these conflicts is on account of lack of balance within yourself. Whether it's anger or greed or drive or determination or grudge or discrimination or injustice are all on account of body imbalance. Whether you are an individual, institution, country, doesn't matter. If you are a principle-centered leader, if you are not in balance, you're going to create conflicts. It may be for yourself. That's why you should recognize Atma Jnana, as we say, Prana Vriddhi. Means your life elongation is contingent on how much you realize you are loving yourself or not. It's not self-adulation. You don't need to be obsessed about yourself, but you have to have control on yourself. And it means recognizing the nature's bliss is essential for you to protect this by love, not by hate. All these conflicts is on account of hate, difference of opinions, anger. Essentially, if you can calm your nerves as a leader, if you're principle-centered, ethical living is required, moral governance is required. You need to recognize you need integration. Everything is internal. Let me underline this phrase again and again and again and again. Everything is internal. That internal integration is getting into external disposition when it comes to crisis.
Yeah.
Or lack of integration. It gets into explosion of your own persona, and that results in wrong decision, conflicts, confusion, and again, calamities.
Yeah, and we've all heard of this saying, right? Say, kill people with kindness, but I feel like you can almost also kill stress, kill anxiety, or at least manage it with kindness, with peace, with internal kindness so that you can portray external kindness as well.
Well, there's no stress in substance if you understand that's self-inflicting. Because it's like taking, poison in your hand and drinking it and expecting other person to die. It is self-inflicting in substance. So if you recognize...
Stress is not always self-inflicted, it can be self-inflicting. They mean different things.
Yeah,
fair?
It is. It is. Okay. External interaction has given you such imbalance. If your internal imbalances creating conflict within yourself and you are not peaceful on account of disintegration between your heart and mind or guilt, whatever be the reasoning, you are not going to be normal. There is no introspection to recognize what is right, what is not right.
Yeah.
Right? So emotion overrules the logic.
Yeah.
So that is why you have to calm your nerves. Take a break, take a 1 minute breathing sensation during the break and ensure you have internal integration. That's what is meditation. That's what is ethical living is all about. Bringing that peace within you, love within you, and transcend beyond yourself.
Yeah. And like he mentioned, normal, right? But we all have the new normal or whatever's comfortable as normal. So finding that comfort for yourself to create your own normal. And I think that's what we're talking about with how yoga sort of helps that. So would you say that yoga is the way of life? And what does that mean to you in today's world?
Yoga is the way of life. Human existence is designed to deliver incremental value to this planet. That's why the 5 powers which are embedded within you is integral part of the cosmic, celestial, divine substance. So it's synchronized with the nature, whether it is water or sky or wind or earth or soil, whichever way you want to call it, all are integral within yourself. You are a molecule in this whole cosmic energy, celestial system. There are different types of living creatures, including human. It's a substance of the same, emotions or otherwise. So the design is to recognize it's an opportunity to be incremental by uniting, not by segmenting, not by disintegration, by integration. That's why it's one world, it's one family. We are brothers and sisters. We recognize even other animals or living creatures are having the same emotions. We transcend the same love and affection. So it's the recognition of this inner self is a reflection to your external commitment.
I know it's a very difficult question to answer, but in what way, how does it help rather? How does it help when you feel overwhelmed with the climate news or when you feel overwhelmed generally in life? So maybe try and explain to people who are watching it how it makes you feel when you do it, so that they're more intrigued to want to try it because they want to feel that way. So how does it help? I know it helps, but how?
See, the journey is towards the truth.